Hi, so I'm sitting here in front of one of my most favorite herbs, and this herb is St. John's wort, and the botanical name is Hypericum perforatum, and the family that it grows in is Hypericaceae, which is the St. John's wort family. And one of the characteristics in this family that probably a lot of us know about is it acts on the nervous system. And this herb is a perennial, although I think the seeds travel around quite a bit because I find it in different patches every year. So I tried planting it. It does seed easily, but it just doesn't really seem to like transplanting. So I just wildcraft it every year. I just go around my neighborhood and area that I live in and try to find some nice patches that I can harvest. Although I do have some in my meadow, but not a lot. So, for as much as I want to harvest. So it likes, well, to that end, it likes big open areas, meadows, and places where it can get a lot of sun. And okay, it's going to get windy here, of course, but the part that you want to use is the top part of the plant, where the flowers and the buds are, and that's because you want to use the oil that's in the plant. And I don't see a lot of buds here, but if you take a bud and crush it open in your fingers, you can see the red oils, and I don't know if you can see that on my finger. It's kind of pink there. This plant is getting pretty dry. This is blooming pretty late in the season here. Usually I collect it midsummer, around the solstice, but there's a few plants around here still hanging in. And so you want to use the oils in this herb. I tincture it in grain alcohol. You can also, use vinegar, or even make a herbal tea with it. But I use the fresh herb. Dried, I don't think will work very well. By then, the oils are pretty much dried up. So the two uses that I use it for, one on the nervous system, but on the actual nerves themselves in the body, rather than for a nervous condition. And the very first time I used this herb, I used it on a hen that had gotten behind a board, and I didn't secure it very well, and it fell down on her, and she actually was underneath the board for a couple days. And the reason for that is she kind of got pushed down into the litter. The birds were walking on top of it, unfortunately, and it looked pretty flat, and I didn't think there was anything underneath it. And when I picked it up, I found her, and I was just horrified, to say the least. But she was still alive, incredibly, and so I brought her in, and I got her hydrated. That was the first thing. But she was really unable to move. I mean, it was almost like she was paralyzed. So the only thing I could think of at first was to use St. John's wort to maybe stimulate the nerves and the nervous system. So I did, and within 24 hours she was sitting up. I used a straight tincture, and within a day or two she was up and walking around, and I just found that incredible. So to me, that really suggested its powerful work on the nervous system. And the other thing I've used it for is as an antibacterial agent. It's very powerful against staph infections, so you can use that either topically or internally. It's very good for that. So this is an herb that is very useful for poultry. And I guess the last thing I'd like to mention is I've always had the idea that this herb has a lot of magic in it. And it's interesting that a couple days ago I was in one of my herb books, and I just happened to cross the little write-up on St. John's wort, and I was thinking about making this video, and there was a little blurb in there that said that this herb actually has it used to have quite a bit of superstition surrounding it, and in fact was used to ward off evil spirits. So I just thought I'd mention that. You can take that where you will. But again, very useful for our poultry, and I hope you can find some in your landscape and use it, because it is a very powerful herb.